Meanwhile, on Krakoa...
Oh, I've been helpful. I've been cooperative. As much as it's not in my nature, I have done my part. But I'm not doing one more thing until you give her to me.
That wasn't part of the deal, Raven.
I don't care. Bring her back.
Raven, after all this time, after all the years of you stabbing your own kind in the back just to get what you want, after all that, do you really think we can trust you?
I want my wife back!
And she will return. Wait, did you say your wife?
Yes, I want my wife back.
Oh my god, are you... Wait a minute, Charles. Are you...
Yes, I'm a lesbian. What did you think me and Irene were?
I just thought you were good friends. Honestly, it was never explicit. You never said anything out loud about it.
We shared one bedroom, Charles. You visited our house.
Never once did you say we're girlfriends, we're in love. I love her. Isn't she great? None of that.
It wasn't really a good thing to do that.
Well, could you do a brother a favor, Raven?
What?
Be a little truthful next time.
How dare you? Look, just bring her back.
All right, I have a question here. I mean, now, did you just turn into a dude when you would fuck her? Because then, does that count as being a lesbian?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm dying to
You
know.
are disgusting. All of you are disgusting. I'm a lesbian. I want my wife back now.
Congratulations?
Ugh, gross.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 120 of Comic Book Queer's Legacy. I am your host, Brett. With me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Evil Jeff. Hello, Evil.
I want my wife back.
That was a few pages from X-Men number 6 by Jonathan Hickman and Matteo Buffagni. Quite a milestone of an issue.
Yes. Shit's going.
But we'll talk about that a little bit later.
The brakes on that for right now.
Because, ow, my fingers are burning because of all of these. Cue the music.
What are you gonna pick?
Hot topics. We got some hot topics, girl.
Let's start with some, let's start in the DC world, and that's probably the only time we'll hit the DC world this episode.
Thank God.
Doom Patrol.
What about it?
Apparently, the DC... I canceled my DC subscription.
I honestly was on the toilet. I was on the toilet today, and I saw the charge go through in my email. I was like, shit. Why am I still subscribed?
When's the last time you watched something on that?
Nothing. Yeah. Christmas, when I watched Batman Returns.
Yeah, so I canceled that. But here's the cool thing, is it's going to premiere the second season on that and HBO Max. It's going to be on both.
So is HBO Max different from HBO Now? Because I'm a part of HBO Now. Do I have to fucking do another thing?
It is. Well, you can. I believe you can sign up and like expand it. But now HBO Max is like HBO Max is going to have Friends. It's going to have like a huge TV, and it's like all of the Time Warner TV, all Time Warner movies. So it's just going to have a huge streaming thing of that, and then original programming. But the nice quintessential original programming will be the HBO stuff, which is still going. So I think you can still just get HBO, or just get HBO Max, or get a combo of them both. But if you have HBO, I don't think you automatically get HBO Max.
I'll probably wind up paying less if I just upgrade to HBO Max, HBO Now than I would just paying for DC Universe. So
yeah,
it all works out in the end.
But here's the thing, is they're casting somebody. Huh? They're casting a new person. And it's a woman. And the thing is her name is going to be Ronnie Evers. Have you heard of that character in the DC world?
I don't know who that is.
That's an evil cyborg that fights Cyborg, but it's a man.
Robot Man?
It's a man.
Cyborg.
But yes, of Cyborg, but it's a man in the comics, but in this, a woman is being cast as Ronnie Evers.
Okay.
So they're gender swapping it. So
Oh,
that's going
cool.
to be a new
Fun.
villain coming out. So I think
Like
that's
just like the original Captain Marvel, just like Marvel.
yeah,
Well, gender swappies. I love it.
it's gonna be fucking good.
I'm just glad it's back. I'm glad there's going to be more.
Yeah. I think maybe we should go into the next biggest news.
Yes.
I mean, maybe not around the world, but for us, as Brett and I get boners anytime Hickman and X-Men are mentioned in the same sentence, he did an interview.
He did an interview on adventuresinpoortaste.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite telling. Scandalous, even.
Scandalous.
Scandalous.
Brett, what did you take away from it?
I took away that he gave a beautiful description of Jean and Emma's unique relationship.
And the difference between how they use their powers.
The difference between their telepathy. And it's quite polar opposite.
Find that fascinating. I think it's the first person to ever really bring this up.
And it absolutely fits. It's absolutely accurate. It's a wonderful polar opposite yin yang kind of thing. And it's very telling of their personalities.
Yeah.
Of who they've always been.
Yeah. So, first of all, he says the one thing that I found telling is it was like, what kind of friendship do they have? And it's like they respect each other and they share many things. But they won't go to each other's house.
They share intimacy, but they'll only meet in Scott's bed. They will not go to each other's beds. They will only go to Scott's.
But Scott shares a bed with Jean, so I think what he's saying is that Scott's thing with Emma is separate, and the threesome that Jean and Wolverine and Cyclops are having are its own thing.
Yes.
So Scott is fucking dirty as fuck, and I wish it was talked about more openly, because you know who would have a problem with all of this?
Who?
Rachel.
Yes, gross.
Rachel fucking Summers. She'd just be like, or Rachel Gray, because she took away Summers because he pissed her off before this. She's like, can you just imagine being like, Dad, you're gross. Dad, that's gross.
And then Scott would be like, well, Rachel, meet your new stepsister, Ruby Summers. And she'd be like, what's up, bitch? I'm your new roommate, bitch.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh my God. But then here's the thing, when it talked about their powers, is he said there's two types of telepaths. When you get all these voices coming in your head, you either embrace it and become super empathic and emotional.
Empathic and open.
Or you become cold and closed off so that you can just turn it all off on a dime. And that's where it's more like that's Xavier. That's Emma. I think that's also Psylocke.
He said like Monet.
Monet. Psylocke, I think, is like that too. Who do you think is a more open telepath? I think most telepaths are like that.
Yeah, I think that's what makes Jean so special, right?
So unique, is she's one of the few. I think Rachel, maybe. But we hate Rachel, so fuck her.
I don't want to give her any. She's milquetoast. She's middle of the road. She can't decide on which one she is.
Although she's getting a new costume finally.
Thank God. Oh, those costumes for X Factor look good. Good. How about Dakin? Hello, Samurai Daddy.
Hot.
Oh my God. And I didn't realize Aurora was part of the cast. When they showed the costumes, they had Aurora. I was like, oh, hi.
Okay, so can we please? I just want, because it's not going to happen with Iceman now, but you can't put a bisexual guy and a gay guy on a team and not have them fuck. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
I want Dakin to see North Star and his marriage and think, I'm gonna fuck that up.
Yes, please.
And then North Star just gives into it. But then, plot twist, Dakin falls in love with North Star, but then North Star finds out about his shenanigans and then loses his husband, and then he's like, fuck you, I still love my husband.
Yes. Oh my God. And then plot twist, Dakin doesn't stab the husband like he did in Iceman.
Yeah. But the husband has to die.
Anyway,
But
we got off topic.
It's of gangrene. It's just...
The other interesting thing in Hickman's interview is he talked about the way he chose what characters to write about is he just was like, I want to work with this artist.
In giant size, yeah.
And the artist was like, he's like, who do you like to draw? Which is interesting because it looks like Alan Davis is doing the Nightcrawler one, which I love that Alan Davis is like, I want to draw Nightcrawler.
And Russell Dodderman not only loves to draw Jean and Emma, he also loves to draw Storm. So they unveiled a Giant Size X-Men Storm one-shot drawn by Russell Dodderman, written by Jonathan Hickman, which is a continuation of the Jean Emma one.
And here, biggest plot twist reveal, he said, and it's going to set up what's going on with Storm for the next couple of years.
Because we have a plan. We actually have a plan.
Someone has a plan for one of the best X-Men ever. A character that has been underutilized for, say, 20 years.
It shouldn't be a feat. It should feel like Wolverine #1. Like, oh my, all right, someone else is doing Wolverine. Okay.
That didn't come out, right? That comes out
next week. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
God, I feel like I'm going to hate it.
No, I think it's going to be great.
I just hate I'm just so done with Wolverine.
Yeah, but he's Bone and Cyclops now.
Unless that's in it, I'm going to hate it.
That's the only way. Unless this book is about the complex thruple that is Jean Scott Logan, I don't care.
Unless it opens with Scott Summers like shooting a load
in Wolverine's face.
And then he just goes, and then he's like, oh, are you sore from last night? And then Wolverine's like, I heal.
No.
Anyway, because that's why Wolverine's into fisting. Anyway, I'm super excited. What is this thing? Because it looks like Jean and Emma have to go into Storm's brain. Like, what is going on? What do you think it is?
Well, that's another thing. That's another thing that came out in the episode, in the interview, is that Dodderman basically just said, hey, that silent issue that was from Morrison's run of Jean and Emma performing telepathic surgery on Xavier? I loved that. I want to do something like that.
Let's rip that off.
And he's like, let's just do that. Let's just do that. It's an homage. How dare you?
But does that mean there's not going to be any talking in the whole Giant Size X-Men?
Oof, I don't know.
I can't tell if I'm going to like that or if I'm going to be like, no,
I'd rather there be
bitchy banter.
Yeah, I want bitchy banter.
I want bitchy banter.
I want her going, let's have a drink later. I'm buying.
Or they could reenact the scene from Cabaret where it's like, screw Maximilian, but it's like, screw Scott Summers. I do. So do I. Oh, my God. God, this is the gayest episode we have ever done. Anyway.
Because it's the gayest X-Men has ever been.
Anything else with that interview?
Nope.
I think we should just keep on this X bandwagon and breathe in nice and deep. Breathe in that X air. Cue the music. Yes. Yes. Oh. Yeah, to exhale. That's right. Every episode, me and Brett have to talk about our favorite comic of all time, the X-Men. Oh, and they did not disappoint this week. I think this was kind of like a game changer issue, but we'll get to that one last.
Yeah, definitely an iconic issue of the main X-Men title. But first, let's talk about X-Force #7. That's Benjamin Percy.
And this one, I find the idea of it interesting, but the actual comic itself, I was like, okay.
And Oscar,
know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? How I felt? I can see what you're saying. I'll phrase it this way: is similar. It felt like an okay comic book. Lately everything has felt so epic and big and cinematic and larger than life. And this was like, okay, it was a fun issue of a B-tier X-Men
because
comic.
I feel like Gail Simone has written way better things about Domino, and then there's way more interesting things in X-Force with Quentin Quire. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like this isn't like... But I like the idea, as what's going on is that since Domino's skin has been peeled off and she got regrafted with like Krakoan organics, the skin that they grafted off is kind of what has her luck power now. So she doesn't have her luck power anymore.
Yeah, and it seems so she's chasing after some assassin that's gotten very lucky with his or her hits lately. And there
I
seems
liked
to be
that.
some
I do
tie.
like how all the assassination attempts were all based on luck.
I love that. Another thing I loved was Domino's able to read her power by rolling dice. So typically she'll roll a lucky roll. I forget what she says, like a 7 or a 12 or something like that.
Boxcars.
Yeah, but
7.
And then now she can only roll snake eyes, which I believe is like the killer roll in craps.
Craps, yeah. Craps 7 is the good in craps.
The good one.
And snake eyes is bad.
So she can keep rolling snake eyes, and then later on in the issue, spoilers everybody, she realizes that her power has kind of morphed in that she's more like Felicia Hardy. She can create bad luck for other people.
For the other people, yeah. But there is a good luck, and this is where I found confusing. There's like the person with the skin looks like Domino.
Yep, but inverse.
But like, and so it's like, but what is that? Who is it? A clone?
Is that something
or is it just on or is it
skin?
on somebody? Yeah, or is it just another person with her skin on them?
Ooh,
I don't know.
But
here's the thing though.
Yeah,
is at the same time. I would be now. Here's just what would you if you were Domino? What would you do, Brett? Would you try and take advantage of your bad luck power, or would you do what I would do, and I would just blow my brains out and be reincarnated and get my regular powers back?
Yeah, I mean the death thing is kind of an easy out, a reset button,
and you would get your skin back. I don't want that Krakoan.
I don't want this vegetative, graft.
Yeah.
Because if I'm
I would be like, honestly, oh, my thighs are getting fat. Boom, blow my brains out. They'd be like, Jeff, you can't keep killing yourself just because you get fat. I'd be like, whatever.
I'd be up like giving some sort of speech in some sort of Krakoan amphitheater, and I would be like, and so my next point is, oh fuck, blow my brains out.
I'd fucking be Karma. I'd be fucking Karma, Shadow King Karma. I would eat McDonald's every day and then blow my brains out.
I'd basically be
reincarnated.
Happy Death Day, which will come up later on in this episode.
Yes. Also, they really need to address old people dying off and then being reincarnated back to their youthful selves.
See, I think they shouldn't do that.
That hasn't happened yet. Why?
I think you should let the natural course of things happen, right? It's like the murder, the genocide we've beaten, but we're not.
No, that's the whole point,
nuts.
is that they're immortal. No, they're immortal. They're not going to let any X-Men ever die. No X-Men is ever going to die. Do you not realize that, Brett? You think they're going to let an Omega level mutant die?
I guess I just trust Charles Xavier to do the right thing.
No, they need the Omega level mutants, so they have to keep them forever. Well, you think you're like, oh, you're old, we're just going to let you die, even though your powers are what's kind of sustaining everything?
Sorry, Gene, we're just going to let you go this time.
Yeah, no.
All right, you're right.
Hell no.
You're right, but the biggest mystery of this issue is why didn't Domino and Colossus fuck on that beach?
Did they have a thing when they were on X-Force together?
Yes.
Right, yeah, so I think he's still just broken up over Kitty.
I mean, but also, like, look at his size compared to her. And, like, when he goes to flesh, he doesn't shrink down or anything. His dick would destroy her.
No, but that's what it is with her bad luck. She would just she would make everyone impotent.
Oh,
they would all have, they'd go flaccid.
She would give him an STI.
Now that's bad luck.
That's her catchphrase. That's her new power. She'll give you an STI and she'll look at you and go, now that's bad luck.
Now that's bad luck. Hey, did you ever hear, that reminds me of giving someone an STI with a witty catchphrase. Did you ever hear that urban legend where it was always, this is like in the late 80s, early 90s, where it's like, oh, my mom's friend. It was always my mom's friend. She went on a trip to the Mediterranean. It was always somewhere like Ibiza or something like that. And then she met this guy. They had this crazy 2-day love affair. And then she wakes up one morning, the day she's going to leave, the guy is gone. She goes into the bathroom and written in lipstick on the bathroom mirror, it says, do you know what it says, Brett?
You now
Welcome
have
to
AIDS.
the world of AIDS. Welcome to the world of AIDS.
Oh, God.
And I had 3 different people. They were like, my mom's friend. And I was like, that was not
Jesus
your fucking mom's
Christ.
friend. I was like, that's not your fucking mom's friend. It was made up. But that's Domino. Anyway, X-Force. Fun. But not as good as Excalibur.
Funner.
What happened in Excalibur?
Werewolves.
Yes. This is like the fact that who writes this again?
It's Teenie Howard.
Teenie Howard. Teenie Howard. She fucking read.
She knows
all
her
of Excalibur.
fucking classic Excalibur. That's for damn sure.
Because they were, and that's the fact that they were put in like Excalibur 5. They were put in that fucking zoo. They've been in that zoo the whole goddamn time.
That they were in that zoo
crazy.
way back in the day.
And I love it. And that's the other thing is they also brought back another gay character, Cullen
Bloodstone from Avengers Arena.
Who is full on homo. I will say his character is a little different than Avengers Arena. He was gay, but he was more like gothy gay.
Yeah.
And now he's much more like, oh, but now I'm British.
Yeah, it's like he's
British prick.
It's like he's inherited some money and he's like gotten classy.
Yeah. But still loves the dick, which they haven't brought up yet. And I'm hoping that, as I said, if you have 2 gay characters, you need to make them have sex together. So Richter with his new like voodoo witchy druid look, and Cullen. Although Cullen, how old is Cullen?
18, 19, 20, 25.
We'll say, yeah, he's 18. But that's how old is Richter now? Like early 20s?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Okay. Need to make sure everything's on the up and up. But the fact that she was like, all right, I'm going to do this epic thing with Apocalypse and all of this setup, but now it's like, now we're just going to have some fucking fun. Here's like a human hunt with the werewolves.
So fun.
Like,
and it even did that thing that freaked me out as a kid where they like climb out of somebody's mouth when they're wearing their skin.
Yeah, they did that.
I had a total flashback. I was like, oh yeah, that used to freak me out.
I love the Alan Davis, like the way he would draw the people once they were possessed.
Yes.
Their smiles would be like a little too big, and they would be like super creepy looking. Ugh. But then who was that girl that died? Poor girl.
Yeah, that I remember
They were
feeling
like,
that
hey,
too.
lady, and then she's like, blah.
I remember feeling that too. I felt bad for the
Cullen
people who had the
is
skin.
like just pure evil now. He was kind of on the fence of like, oh, this thing in my back makes me want to be evil, but I don't want to be evil. Now he's just like, I'm bad.
I'm bad, baby. I'm bad, governor.
And then I do like, there is the interesting thing of like Shogo. Was that in this one about Shogo not wanting to be?
Yes, Jubilee's so tired
He
because
doesn't want to be
Shogo.
human anymore.
He doesn't. He just wants to be a dragon.
That's kind of fucked up.
You got to respect that.
That's gonna fuck you up. Like you're gonna have weird things going on.
Yeah.
If you live as a dragon for that long, yeah.
Like you're going to wind up being like an Iron Man type character or something.
Yeah.
Right, Brian Michael Bendis?
Or just by the time you hit puberty, like you're going to be like, the only thing I'm attracted to is girls being set on fire. You know what I mean? It's going to be like it's going to mess you up. Anyway, what else happened in that issue? That's interesting.
I think it's just your classic, Excalibur versus Werewolves.
I do like, they do set up, I believe, somewhere about like, what if, because we have seen in future issues, Britain declares war on Krakoa.
Oh, that's coming.
And poor Betsy. And poor Pete Wisdom. Because Pete Wisdom basically is like, I don't really want to go to Krakoa. I like working for MI.
Yeah.
Is it MI?
13. 6.
No, 13. What is it? Which one it is. So they're going to have to make some choices.
Everybody's going to have to make some choices. Exodus is going to have to make some choices. Is he going to keep hanging out in Agaga's den, looking at books?
Yeah. Have they ever had anything going on before?
They're both very old.
Yes, but that's what I mean. But have they ever, when each of their things were going on in past, they've never crossed paths.
They never really they never teamed up or mixed it up or.
Yeah, that's dangerous. That's the other thing is like having Exodus and like Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse all just like, yeah, let's all just hang out on our own and do experiments. How are they like Xavier and Magneto not like fucking shaking in their boots?
Fuck.
They have to have some sort of, I guess in the end they know like Xavier has the resurrection.
Yeah.
And so if we fuck that up, like, yeah.
We can just kill them and not resurrect them.
And that's the other thing is that they have this Moira thing in their pocket. And I'm still waiting for that to come out. Like she hasn't shown up at all. And she's supposed to have her own book.
Yeah. I've got a theory. I've got a theory. Something I'd like to see, which takes us into our next book.
Yeah, this is a beautiful segue. God, we're on fire today.
We really are. X-Men number 6 by Jonathan Hickman. And I think it's Lynn Francis Yu. Yes. No, it's not. It's someone different. I'm not looking at it right now, but I know it's someone different. It's the Mystique issue. We finally see what Mystique's been up to lately. And, a lot of people who were paying a lot of attention to House of X. I'm sorry, I got to get this artist's name. Oh, Matteo Buffagni. A lot of people who were paying attention to House of X said when they were on that spaceship, on the mission where they died, the Krakoan people died, Mystique was like, oh, sorry, Scott, I got turned around. Huh. Right. We knew then.
He planted it then? I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
Oh, he's a genius.
Genius planning, acting.
Because she was planting a seed.
She was planting a Krakoan gate onto the Orcus, the forge.
And can we just say the way he set that up, the time jump of like the narrative structure he used, where they showed kind of what was going on, and then later you find out that one of those, the people bringing in the thing, one of them was Mystique.
That's some good Mystique, and that's a good use of Mystique right there.
It is so good. But we know this whole thing going on, we know Moira laid down the law that there can be A, no fucking precogs, and B, if there is going to be a precog, it's sure as hell going to be the bitch that set me on fire. So they need to fucking, but here's the thing that I'm just, couldn't they, when they brought back Raven, how come they didn't just erase Irene?
Yeah.
Or changed. I guess that's the thing. Maybe then there's still like, maybe that's going a bridge too far, like going and like rebooting your memories.
I mean, maybe they will. Because she'll be like, what the fuck? And then be like, you died, bitch, a long time ago.
Because the thing that sucks is the fact that Xavier and Magneto are giving her all these excuses. Oof. If you didn't know the behind the scenes, you'd be like, all right, I guess I understand that. But the fact that we know that they're never going to bring Irene back, just, like everything they're saying is bullshit. And it makes me like, I am so on her side.
Oh, I'm totally sympathetic with Mystique here. Yes, I don't want Krakoa to burn. At the same time, burn it all down, bitch, until you get your wife back.
But and then speaking of which, that's where we get Irene. This timeline, Irene, before she dies, is it technically, do we say the Shadow King killed Irene or Legion?
I say Legion.
Was it Legion in control, or was the Shadow King in control of Legion when he killed
I think
her?
I feel like, Legion could have beat the Shadow King if he wanted to.
But it was a different personality.
It's complex. It was a complex time.
Anyway. But before she basically told Raven, Mystique, she was like, hey, way in the future, when you're still here and I'm not. And Raven's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, bitch, just shut up. Just listen to me.
Precog stuff, honey.
In the future, when I'm not there and you're still there, you're gonna be part of this great place, and you're gonna have the opportunity to get me back, and they're not going to let you. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you demand to bring me back, and they refuse, what does she say, Brett?
Burn it all. Burn it all to the ground.
It all to the fucking ground. So that's the whole time I'm like, Apocalypse, he's too dangerous. Sinister, so dangerous. Exodus, so dangerous. But guess what? They are all on board with Xavier's plan. Rogue, Mystique, being like, fuck you, Xavier and Magneto. That is the biggest danger to the X-Men. Because that's the thing. He is setting up every single issue. He is setting up a different danger to the X-Men. And I feel this one, Mystique, is the biggest danger yet.
So what if, in this mission to burn it all down, Mystique starts snooping around and what's up, Moira? I think I just found your secret bedroom.
Yeah.
What's up, bitch?
Oh my God.
You're going to give me my wife back? Oops, there goes your...
And then she's going to be like...
There goes your restaurant gate. Boom.
She's like, your wife fucking burned me alive. She's like, I don't remember that. And she's like, yeah, well, it was in a different life.
Yeah, and the reason I don't want Precogs back is because she's a fucking skank. She's a fugly slut who burned me, and I don't want her coming back because she burned me, and so she doesn't get to come back. Bitch, I don't care if she's your fucking wife. I don't care. She burned me. Also, I don't want to
take that, you lesbian.
Also, you fucking lesbian. I don't want her to know what I don't want her to know what my real secret plan is. So there's that too.
Yeah, because this is the other thing: is the fact that Moira says no precogs.
Shady.
That's a red flag that I'm surprised. Yeah, but that's where I'm wondering. Do you think if I was Xavier? If I was Xavier Magneto, I'd be like, let's just resurrect Blindfold behind Moira's back. Just in case. You know what I mean?
They probably did.
That would be amazing if it did. Because I would be like, why do we not want a precog? Like, don't we want some sort of assurance that what we're doing is the right one? And here's the other thing is like, how does she not know that they're doing all of this and that when she dies, it doesn't just start all over? How does she know? How did Destiny know that this was the last one? Why is this the last one?
She probably lied to her.
Why is this her last life? I would want to find that out. Because who would like, we did it all perfect. And then what do you do if you do everything perfect? Because how does it work if Moira gets resurrected?
Oh, damn.
How does Moira's resurrection work?
Does she get another 10?
But does she restart over? But if she restarts over, does this timeline still continue because she's resurrected?
Oh my God, I just want my wife back.
I just want my wife back. Hickman, listen to this because, we're opening up fucking Pandora's box and we know you can handle it. Oh my God, can you imagine if Hickman pulled a Jim Lee taking over the X-Men after Chris Claremont left and he's like, I'm out. Bye. I would die. Because it would be like, who can take this over?
I think, do we stop reading? No, that's not possible.
No, I would just demand that like Teenie Howard, Leah Williams. And Kelly Thompson, we make sure they...
The three of them are the new architects. They have to be.
Although, who did the last Uncanny run?
It was Matthew Rosenberg. Yeah.
He was great. He's great too.
Yeah, he's great.
But Hickman is in a level of his own.
Yeah. Oh my God. I loved in the interview when they were like, so wait, why did you want to do Phantom X? He was like, Grant Morrison. Next question.
He's basically like, hey, we know the greatest thing since me was Grant Morrison.
Hickman's like, here's the thing, you stupid bitches. You had the X-Men at their best ever, and then you undid all of it, and you created DAP and shit like that. So I'm here to set it straight. I'm here to make it right. when it was like soon after Marston's run. It was, what was it? Joe Casey's, Peter Milligan.
The one with Stacey X?
Yeah. No. Beyond that. One was like, it was Salvador LaRocca drawing it, and it was like Outlaw, and it was like during like Outlaw and Peepers and the Sapien Queen. Is that her name?
Oh, yeah, I didn't read.
And Polaris had no powers, and and then they found Gambit was death, and they found like a cousin of Dupe from space called Dap, and I was like, I'm done with this.
This is garbage.
I'm done with this garbage. I think it was Milligan.
Yeah, fuck all that. Anyway, the X-Men's in a great place, and I'm excited.
We love it.
Next week we got Wolverine #1. We got a new Mutants. We got Emma and Jean Grey Giant Size #1. So we're gonna be jizzing all over the place.
Oh my god.
But I think that's enough X-Men for now.
Enough.
And I think maybe we should get critical.
Cue the music.
I fixed the music cues.
I know. Thank you so much. You're so great. Thank you for doing less than the bare minimum and then not doing that.
Fuck you. Anyway, I just want constant compliments. All right. Anyway, we basically are just going to talk about one show.
So if you guys don't watch The Magicians and don't care about The Magicians, thank you so much for listening to episode 120 of Comic Book Queer's Legacy.
But you need to watch the show because if you're listening to the show, you're probably a faggot. And if you're not a faggot, Jeff. You probably really are, because you're probably like, oh, it's okay. I still jerk off to straight porn, but I mostly look at the guy. But it's still, just deal with it. This show is so campy and fun and gay. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
And it was basically like a full movie. It was like a 2-hour episode dealing with the upcoming apocalypse and whether the magicians can defeat it.
We're talking about the latest double feature episode of The Magicians, which I swear to God thought was the season finale. It was so good. And then all of a sudden they're like, next week on The Magicians. I was like, yay!
Yeah. And here's the deal. What did I always complain about? I hate how they're always separated. And what happens? The big mission comes and they all joined up together.
It is all, so 6 now, 6 magicians together to perform one big task, and that is avert the apocalypse by slightly moving the moon.
Because here's the deal. Magic is so powerful that anything like thing that normally would surge magic, like the alignment of planets, the alignment of planets causes a natural surge in magic. So if an already surge is happening, they're basically saying the natural that surge will be so
overloaded.
What am I saying? Exponential.
It
will be exponential,
yes.
And it will basically cause someone will do a small spell and it will just blow up an entire city. So the only way to stop the planets from aligning is to move the moon, because they can't move Mars. The other ones, planets are too big. Because they're like, why don't we move Mars? And they're like, well, the moon is closer and smaller. So
Mars is big and far away.
But then it turns out the moon is a being.
You can't.
Is it a god?
No, it's sentient, but it's also covered in essentially magic calluses. Like, people had been casting spells on the moon for so long, it's built up this like shell, this callus all around it. So you can't move the moon with magic. You have to ask her to move. Ask her to move.
And they're learning all of this from the people, the cult that worships the moon, called
the Lunatics.
Who thought of this? The Lunatics, which was just like
brilliant.
I feel like when they were in the writer's room, whoever said lunatics, they stopped and did like a slow clap.
Oh, it's absolutely.
And we're like,
like when somebody revealed that he put lips on Nanny in the upcoming Hellions book, the whole fucking writer's room just stopped what they were doing and started sucking each other's dicks and eating each other's butts and grabbing each other's boobs, and while screaming, yes!
So what they need to do to ask the moon, they have to kind of do a spell and offer a sacrifice. But you need to get moon brain, which means you can't sleep for 5 days, and then you have to cast a spell and then offer up a moon rock as a sacrifice. And then once the moon is listening and you ask, then the moon can decide. They say moon was a she?
Yep.
Then she can decide whether or not she wants to move. So they all have to stay awake for 5 days.
Which was done beautifully.
Which then comedy ensues. And of course, who does not, only one person does not stay up for 5 days. Which is Josh.
Our stoner master chef.
But then what happens is they're like, so they stay up for the 5 days and they're about to get it all done when who shows up? But Hedge Witch from Penny's world.
Our favorite character.
What's her name?
Marina.
Marina.
We love a Marina.
She shows up and she's like, look, I already have plans. I want all these people to die. I want this to happen. And then Elliot comes in, but now Elliot's getting called and he thinks that the demon he was possessed by is trying to get out while he's asleep. And so now that he's like all half asleep, he's like, oh no, I need to keep the demon at bay. But then he tries to do the spell, and then Marina tries to stop the spell, and they're both tugging on the moon, literally. And then we basically have an Umbrella Academy moment.
Yeah.
Which I was like, I wonder if they saw the Umbrella Academy and were like, fuck. This is very similar. The moon cracks in half, and the debris falls to the earth, and they have to stop it. So they're trying to perform a spell, and it doesn't work, and they all die. And that's the end of the show.
And that's a series finale.
But then that's where Happy Death Day comes in. And Elliot and Margot wake up and they're in a time loop.
And they go through the apocalypse again. And then they go through it again. And then they go through it again. I love, first of all, I know it's not a time loop movie, but I love that earlier in the season, there was an Avengers Endgame reference. And that's essentially where they wound up, was like they averted the apocalypse by going back in time, moving things around.
And this was so smartly done. And the fact how crazy it is, because then Margot, she stops remembering. She leaves the time loop.
And Elliot blames himself, thinking he did something wrong and that he wasn't courageous enough, he wasn't self-actualized enough, and it got Margot kicked out of the time loop, when actually, no, Margot, while Elliot was struggling with his literal demons, Margot figured out a way to stop the apocalypse and went to go do it, but was met with failure.
But that's the reason, is they picked up from episode 1 when they were changing time to bring back Josh and Finn. They sprayed themselves with stuff that would make them unaffected by the time stream.
With permanence, the protective time cologne.
So that is why when the time loop is happening that they remember. But Margot pissed. The people that are doing the time loop are magic dolphins. Whales, magic whales. And the fucking whales were pissed. Margot was so rude to them that they erased her. They splashed her perfume.
They splashed her perfume off. I love that. When Elliot was talking to the whales, they're like, "We are the whales," and he goes, "All of them?" And they go, "Yes."
But before he shows up there, Josh, even though he's the fuck up, Josh is the one where Elliot finally confides in him. And then Josh is like, oh, you have this voice saying to come out. Well, why don't you just let it out? Because you're in a time loop. Like,
what's the worst that can happen?
Why don't you let it out and see what happens? We'll just start over. Yep. And he does, and it turns out it's not the evil demon. It's who is that guy?
It's Charlton. It was the guy who was at first possessed by the monster. So the monster that Elliot was afraid of, that had inhabited his body all last season, before it had jumped into Elliot last season, it was living in Charlton. And then when Elliot was trying to break free of the monster's possession inside his own head, Charlton was the one who said the way out of being trapped in here by the monster is to go to your worst memory where you can escape. And that's where the reveal of his worst memory being Quentin offering to be with him and him saying no out of fear. That was his worst memory. That's how he ultimately escaped the monster. And it was Charlton who showed him that the escape, salvation, was through your worst and therefore gayest memory.
And then we find out that the whales, they're constantly casting spells to keep the Kraken, like from Clash of the Titans, from emerging from under the sea and destroying the world.
So that whales are all magicians, and they are actually tracing sigils in the sea to keep the Kraken at bay. Amazing.
But what they realized is when the Earth gets hit by the moon asteroids, it makes the Kraken come out, and the time loop starts every time the Kraken is released. So that's when he realized, if we can get the Kraken released earlier, I will have enough time to come back before we crack the moon in half. Which he does. It was so smartly written. It was so good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
good.
so the Kraken being released actually resets time 12 hours prior instead of the like 12. What was it? Like the Kraken set him back even earlier than he was stuck in the time loop. So he was able to avoid being in the time loop in the first place. It was so good.
And he's able to stop the moon from being cracked in half. And they stop the whole apocalypse. But then it turns out that Piggy, who shows up to Julia in the beginning, wasn't even talking about that and was talking about an apocalypse in Philly.
Yeah, the creature who warned Julia, the sexist creature who warned Julia of the apocalypse, wasn't even talking about this apocalypse.
And of course, because he didn't want a woman and wouldn't go to her, he went to Todd,
who was missing all season, and now you know why.
And we wanted him to be the Dark King.
Well. We did, but wasn't there a jilted lover of the Dark King?
Do you think it's Todd?
I said then that I hope, maybe I didn't say it out loud. Maybe I thought it. I hope it's Todd. And when
I think that's it. Is Todd gay?
No, he's never.
I mean, he got jerked off by Margot in this.
Yeah, he's never. But the Dark King is very seductive.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't turn gay for the Dark
King? And Todd
Guys, Google the Dark King because he's cute.
Yeah, but Todd is cuter. Todd's the biggest snack. He's the most delicious snack on the show.
He is cute. And know what it is? Why are we attracted to, like, stupid?
Yeah.
Why is hot and stupid hot?
Himbos, baby.
Like the guy from, from Good Place. Jason from Good Place, like that,
or like
stupid.
Yeah, total himbos. Like what's his name from True Blood, the brother.
Yeah,
Ryan Quanten.
Yes.
Or like,
oh my god,
like Havoc.
Havoc sacrificing all of his friends so he could fuck Madeline Pryor.
Which,
anyway,
wait, first of all, when Madeline Pryor comes back in Hellions, which is a book that stars Havoc, I mean, we think we're getting ripped up Goblin Prince outfit again, right? I mean, they have to.
We have to.
Yes.
We have to.
But nothing. Sure, that was hot. Captain Britain in the bondage by under Claremont's pen. Claremont being into bondage, as we all know. That was hot.
Is that a real thing?
You don't know that?
No.
It's been rumored for decades that Chris Claremont would go to BDSM clubs and that he was into bondage. And
is he a sub or a dom?
I would think that he's a sub because the story goes that he walked into a fetish club and paid some woman to dress up like Storm and fist him.
Wow.
You never heard this?
Did he know? What year was this? Did he make her do the voice, like the cartoon voice? Your ass shall feel my thunder. I've never heard that. Are you just making this up? Is this real?
Swear to God, Google it. I swear to God, Google it.
I believe it. No, because isn't the guy who invented Wonder Woman, who created Wonder Woman, he was a big pervert too,
How many times were people in like leather spiked outfits in the entirety of X-Men? A lot.
Yeah. I mean, the whole Hellfire Club.
I mean, Rachel Summers.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh, in Mojo World, when they have her chained and they're pulling.
Oh, please.
I wonder if we had them dressed as werewolves.
Please. If we did an episode about all the times the X-Men or X-Men characters were in bondage under Chris Claremont's pen, we would have an 8-hour episode.
Now all I'm going to think about is while I'm reading this, I'm just be like, was he fisted while he was thinking of these ideas?
The first time I ever saw a meme online, it was like in the early days, like early 2000s of the internet. And I was on like some sort of X-Men message board, and somebody posted a picture of Chris Claremont smiling at like an autograph table, and it just said, "I got fisted by Storm." It was the first meme I ever saw. Like 20 years ago, almost.
That's ridiculous. I can't believe the first meme you saw was "I got fisted by Storm."
Or I think it just said, "I'm into fisting," with his smiling face.
Oh my God.
I think also, did he post? Never mind. I don't want to go there. It could have been fake. Never mind. I'm not going to report about social media posts. But I think Chris Claremont posted, "Wait a minute. Is Kitty Pryde dead?" He's probably so mad.
Well, they're showing her in a fucking funeral.
It looks like she's in a floating vagina on that cover.
Of course. That was Emma's doing.
That's the cover that Lockheed is around Emma's neck, though, and nothing's made me cry harder.
Just a random cover of Emma with Lockheed.
Oh, please. How far we've come.
Like, that funeral I was at, dry as a bone.
Lockheed. So I have a question for you.
Yes.
So we talked about a lot about the Magicians, which is they run the gamut, all different kinds of characters, all different kinds of identities. It's a very diverse show, which is one of its best parts. And they're always on a quest. You know, they each come together. They use their specialties in magic, whatever that is, to chase a thing and to achieve an objective. So, Evil Jeff, I must ask you, if you were a character on The Magicians, what would your vibe be? What kind of character would you be? What would your specialty in magic be? And what could you see yourself on a quest for?
But I'd still be like me, right? You're not saying I could just make up and be whoever.
Exactly. I was thinking it would be you
like,
with like with a bent.
If me was now on The Magicians.
It was you like with a spin though. What would your story be?
Oh well, yeah. What would my specialty be? I think my specialty would be teleportation.
Like a traveler, they call them on that show.
I would be a traveler. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to be a traveler. I would love to be a traveler. What would yours be? Because that's the whole thing, is it would be like because somehow we would like, because we both have the same vibe, it would be like, no, there's only one gay in the village. You and me would hate each other. And then fall in love. Be forced. Yes. And then but first we'd be forced to like go on a mission and save the universe. But it was like, I can't believe I'm stuck with you. Because, everyone in our class gets killed except us.
So if you're
and it's because it's the night drag race is playing. And so we're the only two gay people were out watching it while everyone else gets murdered.
Because we're the only two that watch Drag Race.
Yeah, because we're the two gay
I get it. I think I would be...
What's your powers?
I think I would be... like a demigod. Like I think like I would be, my storyline would be like, I had sex with a god and now I've got like god powers.
But so you still have a little bit of god sperm up your...
I have a little bit of god sperm up my booty and it's giving me these crazy powers.
Oh, okay. But you're still a normal magician, but now like extra.
Yeah, but I'm like, they're like, Brett, how did you do that? I don't know.
I'm probably really jealous of it.
Yes.
That you're more powerful.
Yes, but the secret is I'm jealous of you too, but you just would never notice that because you're so jealous of me. But even though I'm so powerful...
Because in this, I have a full head of ginger hair that's gorgeous.
Yes.
Because we're young in this.
Yes, I've got my 30-inch waist is back.
Yeah. But here's the thing is, who's the bad guy?
Oh, me.
Wait, you're the bad guy?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I think I meant between the two of us.
No. Like, who would be our big bad that we're fighting against?
Oof.
Chris Claremont.
Sure. Sure. It would be an old white man for sure.
Yeah.
And like a lovable uncle like Chris Claremont.
It would have to be someone that we think is on
our side, or that everybody,
and then we're double crossed,
and then, or there's a backstory that we the whole time tried to warn everybody that he was evil, but everybody loved him so much because he like taught people magic and gave them haircuts. And so we were like, he's bad. He touched our butts once. And they were like, no, you're just sluts and you can't come to our parties. You have to stay home and watch Drag Race like the two faggots you are. And so that's why we're home watching Drag Race, because we tried to warn everybody about.
And they didn't believe us because of their homophobia.
Because it was just homophobia all along.
But in the end, to save everyone in the end, we have to be whores. Because even though we hate each other, we're like, you're like, the only way we can beat him is if we both have my powers. So you have to fuck me.
It's cool. It's called cooperative magic.
It's
consensual magic.
Put some of the god sperm up me, but then there's a whole thing where you're just a bottom. So then it's like, oh my God, how are we going to make this work?
Yeah. And it's the story of me becoming verse.
Yeah. And that's what it's really
It's the
about.
quest for versatility is the quest.
That's what it's called, the quest for versatility.
Amazing. And that is now the title of this episode.
The quest for versatility. Well, I think we've been very versatile. We've covered the X-Men and the Magicians, and there's nothing else good to read or watch at this point.
I mean, there probably is, but who has the time?
Who has the time? I don't.
Hey, if there's something,
but next week we'll talk about other comics.
And we've had a few people be very good about this lately. Actually, if there's something you think we should really, really read, send it our way over Twitter, and we will hope to get to it for sure. It's on the list.
Yeah. Sweet.
Sour. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to episode 120. Oh, do they even go this high? Of Comic Book Queer's Legacy. If you like our show, please give us a rating of 5 stars. Would be great. If you don't like this show, remember what Mother always said.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
That's right.
And my mother also used to say, hey, if you keep reading those comics, well, that's going to make you
queer. I learned the word cunt from my mother when she yelled it out of the window while driving once.
I learned the word dildo from my uncle doing the same thing.
And good night.
Bye.